On this worksheet, we're going to practice coming up with the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons for different atoms, and then also writing either their symbols or their names, or sometimes both. And to do this, we need to have a periodic table handy, which is why I've got this one over here. So we have this first row as an example, the oxygen atom. It has 8 protons, and the reason that we know that is because if we go to the periodic table and we find oxygen, just this guy right here, this symbol in the upper left-hand corner, 8, this is the number of protons in the oxygen atom. So that's where that comes from. Now, different periodic tables place this number in different locations. It might be up above the element. It might be in the right-hand corner. So, take a look at your periodic table and see where this number is placed in each box. Now, the number of protons is always equal to the number of electrons for any atom. So these two numbers are always going to be exactly the same. This number of neutrons is a number that's not given to us anywhere on the periodic table, so we're not going to be able to look at the periodic table to come up with this number. And here is the symbol for oxygen. The O, that's the symbol that we get by just looking at the periodic table. And this 18, that is the mass number. The mass number is the number of protons plus neutrons. So for this one, 8 protons plus 10 neutrons gives us a mass number of 18. Now, because we can't look the neutrons up on the periodic table, we're always going to need to either be provided with the number of neutrons or provided with the mass number, one or the other. We have no other way of determining the number of neutrons or the mass number. So here's our next example. We have the element helium, and so we just need to go find helium on the periodic table. Oh, I went the wrong way. Helium is right here, and remember this number, this is the number of protons for any atom, and the number of protons is always equal to the number of electrons. The symbol for helium is He, and in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to write the mass number, which is the protons plus the neutrons. 2 plus 2 is 4. For our next example, we have lithium. Lithium is on the other side of the periodic table, right here. We can see its number is 3. That's the number of protons. And remember, protons and electrons are always the same. This problem is giving us the mass number. For this particular lithium, the mass number is 7. So that means the number of protons plus the number of neutrons, whatever that is equal to 7, and we can all do that math. That means it has 4 neutrons. For the next example, we know that we have 6 protons and 7 neutrons, and that's all that we know. Now, we do know that the protons and the electrons are going to be equal to each other. As far as identifying this atom, we're going to base that off of the number of protons, the number 6. So we'll just scroll through the periodic table until we find element number 6. There it is, carbon. The name is carbon, and the symbol C, and we want to put the mass number in the upper left-hand corner. That's going to be the protons plus the neutrons. That is 13. Now for this next example, we can see that it is the symbol S, and it has 16 protons. So we can find that element right here. That, the periodic table, it tells us it is sulfur. Remember that the number of protons is equal to the number of electrons, and this mass number is protons plus neutrons. So that means it has 16 neutrons. 16 plus 16 is 32. For the next one, we know that the atomic number is 17. That's the next atom over. The number of protons is always equal to the number of electrons. This is chlorine, symbol Cl. The mass number is protons plus neutrons. So that's going to be 35. The next problem down here, I think what I'm going to do, just kind of to have it handy, this is where we are writing the protons. This is all the way up at the top of the table. This is where we're writing the neutrons, and this is where we're writing the electrons, just to help us remember what each of these numbers represents. So this one gives us the number of electrons, but we know that the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons. So if you have 20 electrons, that means you also have 20 protons. And we'll go find element number 20. Element number 20 is calcium. The symbol is Ca, and the mass number, 20 plus 18. Protons plus neutrons, that is 38. For our next example, all we have is the symbol. So we have to just go look for that symbol on the periodic table. There it is, potassium. And we have, from the periodic table, we have the atomic number, which is the number of protons, and also the number of electrons. And from this symbol, the mass number, that's telling us protons plus however many neutrons we have is going to be equal to 39. So that means we must have 20 neutrons. Next we have boron. Boron is over here. It's atomic number 5, so that means it has 5 protons and 5 electrons. Symbol is B. The mass number is 5 plus 6, which is 11. We've got 2 more to go. Our next one is Ne, that is neon. Neon is atomic number 10, so that means 10 protons, 10 electrons. And the mass number is 20, that means 10 plus whatever this is equal to 20. We have one more example, 26 electrons. That means we also have 26 protons. So to find the identity of this element, we just need to go find element 26. It is iron. Symbol Fe. The mass number is going to be 26 plus 29. That is 55.